This parasha is the Parashat Tetzei. Said Hashem, we start the parasha for the Shalul, and a lot of hints of the for the Shalul we find in this parasha. Ki tetzei lamilchama levecha. Pasuk says, Ki tetzei lamilchama levecha. When you go out lamilchama, to war against your enemy, untana Hashem levecha biyadecha. And Hashem would deliver in your hand the shavita shivyo, and you will captive from it. But I told somebody that you have to do teshuvah. He says that I can't do teshuvah. I said, why can't do teshuvah? He says that, Yetzer hara is so strong that I know that I can't overcome the Yetzer hara. I cannot fight with it. I cannot overcome. No. See, Torah tells us there is a big difference between battlefield of Jews and the Goyim. By the Goyim, the focus is on being victorious. If I'm not going to overcome this milchama and the enemy is much stronger than me, I don't start the war. I cannot do it. But Torah tells us in the milchemet of Yetzer hara, when you want to go and fight with Yetzer hara, the way that works like this: you go out to the war against your enemy. Who is going to cause to be victorious? Your job is not to capture the enemy. Your job is to go out to the milchama, to war. Once you go out to war, then you're going to succeed because Hashem delivers it to you. And your job is not to surrender. You have to start the war. And how Baruch would make it. A lot of people, they had the nisayon, and Baruch Hashem, they are coming on the nisayon, and they passed the nisayon. You ask them before the nisayon, what did you think? They said that I cannot do it. A lot of Bali Teshuvah, they said that we would never dream we could keep Shabbat. We would never dream we could keep kashrut. All of a sudden, Baruch Hashem, you're doing it, it's fine. And how did it happen? It happened. Because of the apostle. The apostle says, when you start the war, HaKadosh Baruch Hu will deliver it to you. The focus should not be on being victorious. This is a Goyish way of thinking. Being victorious, being the victory in the milchama is a Goyish way of thinking. In a Jewish way of thinking is Tetzei milchama. Don't surrender. If Satan comes, he wants to surrender you, and he wants to you should not start the war, but you start that right of Ashosha, and you find in the Shivya, in the captive Eshet Yefadra, a beautiful lady, and you have desire for her. You should take her for a wife, and you bring her in your house, and she has to shave her head, and you let grow her nails, not as a manicure, but to become ugly. She should remove the garment of the captivity from the house. Should stay in your house. Now, why should you remove the garment? Because the Goyim, the ladies came with the best garment to the war. Why? Because they understood the weapon that they have is to make the Hal Israel to the Avraham. Once you make them to the Avraham, that's the best weapon. Therefore, you should remove it. And she should cry for her father and mother 1 month. In other words, she has to cry. In other words, she has to cry for her mother and father. Mother and father means the avodah zarah that she was accustomed to. Whatever that she was accustomed to, she has to cry for a month. The Zohar says this Yera is the Chodesh of Elul. What does that have to do with Elul? She's crying for her avodah zarah, for her parents, for a month. And here Elul, the other way, the Elul, we are crying because we didn't go after HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Now, the Zohar means to say, over here, the Torah is telling us somebody that was accustomed to live, she lived a lifetime with the avodah zarah, lifetime with the style of life. A lot of times people come and say, Rabbi, I live a long life, that style, I cannot change it. This is part of me. I lived like that for 50 years, I should change it. 60 years, I should change it. How should I change it? And a lot of times people give up. Now, Torah is saying, yes, there is a merit in a month. Moon, HaKadosh Baruch Hu created moon goes for a month. It's not bechinam. that the moon becomes complete and becomes little and little and little, disappears and becomes complete. That shows the function of life. In a month period, you could change yourself. Just like this lady that was accustomed to Avodah Zarah, to everything, she cries, and through crying and adapting new ideas, new things, she could change. Therefore, if you are living in a society that's instant society, that everything happens right away, you want to push a button to happen, that's not going to happen. But if a person takes little by little, for a month to change, that's the Chodesh of Elul, is Tetzei. In other words, start Selichot, start changing, and little. In other words, in Torah's view is that the accomplishment and the real accomplishment is what stays with you. Something that comes all of a sudden, it goes away all of a sudden. Something that takes time and little by little, you're going to become it, stays with you. Should be right. But if you don't want her, don't sell her, and don't enslave her, to compensate what you valued her. In other words, but then you cannot sell her anymore. Even though that you're captive, it should be like a ship that can hand it. You should be able to sell. Torah says that no, once you do that to her, don't bother her anymore. You have to stay with her. Now, Rashi says, no, what does Torah want? Rashi says, Torah is talking again yesterday. She in our Torah is not based on because if Hashem is not the material, you're going to marry based on our in not so funny and so on. But if you marry her, next parasha is parasha of wife that you love and wife that is going to be you hate, and that would be the wife that you're going to hate, and then Ben Solomon. Therefore, if this lady really is not good, and all of these consequences comes out, by Torah made it Torah. Rashi says, Torah is talking to if Hashem would not be material, we would say, in other words, if Avraham would not have been material, the person would marry. From here, we learn out that any nisayon that would be given to a person is the nisayon that it could be honored. Now, the Torah says over here, Rashi says, if Hashem would have made it asur, the person would have been married her. Therefore, Torah is not going to poster it, something that you cannot be honored on it. From here, we learn out any nisayon that the person has to empower himself. The hashgacha, the supervision of hashgacha is so exact that would not be given a nisayon to a person that it cannot be honored on. The fact that they give you this nisayon, you should know that you could be honored on. Empower yourself. To have because here Torah says, this you cannot stand, Hashem made it mutar. What does that mean? That means that any other thing that comes on your way is exactly what you could handle. If you cannot handle it, Hashem will not give it to you. Now, the Mefarshim say, therefore, what is it that Torah wants us to do? Torah is teaching us a lesson in life. We cannot say no to everything. Whatever that the children want, we cannot say no. But what's the way? You know, sometimes you say no, it's worse because you make you say to the child no becomes very protective, and his rebellious would be awakened to come against, and just the opposite, he wants more and more and crave more and more. And sometimes you have to say, okay, let's see how it goes, and go to a procedure. What's the procedure? We shave her hair. To find out that grow her nail in a very ugly way, and she should sit down in your house, and you see her, she's so ugly, and you see the daughters of Israel, they are so beautiful and so good. Through that, you overcome. There is a procedure to go overcome of the Yetzer Hara sometimes. It's not just saying no right away. You cannot do that. Little by little, you get out. If a person has two wives, one beloved and one hated, and they give children, and the ben of the Bechor, the first person, from the one that he hated, when he inherits all of his children that he has, he cannot grant the right of the firstborn to the son that he loves, so like that does. in the place of the Sinua hated one firstborn. Firstborn, Ben Asenua, the son of the hated, Yakir has to recognize to give to him, Pishinayim double, whatever that he finds, because that is the first of his bigger power. Him is the right of firstborn. The Torah is here telling us person should not discriminate between children, and it's very important to keep the rules and regulation, whatever that the rules and regulation are. And it's very important that in those people that are in the age of marriage for children, to pay attention that a lot of times, first child, the person is very excited. The parents are very excited and they promise a lot of things for the first child, then they cannot do it for the other children. The person should not do that. The person from the first place has to make sure to promise and to say things that should be universal, should do the same for all of the children. Discrimination creates hatred between children, between everybody, and it's very important the person has to have either will and to discriminate, not to give any will to your daughter. It's not the right thing to do, even though the Torah says that the daughter should not get any Yerusha, but there are the ways this is said we could go to a rabbi that should do it in a way that's kosher and yosher, that the person should give to this daughter also. There's a question in Iran was Chatzi Zachar, half of the Zachar would get, but a lot of Rabbanim in America, they encourage that they should get half and half. Everyone should get half and half because that creates machloket and argument between children. The daughter would go against the son and would take it to the court, and all of this thing comes up. Therefore, from now, the person has to be discrimination is not good. When there shall be a man, son of Soreh, wayward or more rebellious. He doesn't listen to the voice of his father and the voice of his mother. They discipline him, doesn't listen to them. Now, why is it called 2 times? Called Aviv, called Imo. It's called Aviv Imo. Why do we need called 2 times? Now, Hashem say, called Aviv, called Imo, has to be the same voice. The Torah goes and says, call to say that there has to be equal voice. In other words, if the father and mother, they don't have the same voice, then we don't kill this Ben Solomon More. Mefarshim say, why is it like that? Because Ben Solomon More, we're going to kill him because we find out that he finally, he will not be a good child. Finally, he would go off of the derech. And he should die while he is zakai, while he is innocent, than to become a robber and they're going to be killed through crime that he does. Now, if the voice of the father and mother is not the same voice, then it's not his fault what's happening here. It doesn't show it to Tikkun and Nefesh. Just respond to the treatment of father and mother. If it's a response to treatment of father and mother, that's not what he is in essence. They shouldn't be cared. Unbelievable this. A lot of times, the father and mother, with the way that they talk and they deal with the child, they could mess him up against his tikkuna and nefesh. He has a good tikkuna. He has something that could be good. But they mess him up with not having the same voice at home. The worst thing for children is when the voice of father and mother are not the same. In other words, one father says something, mother says another. And the child will be cut in the middle what to do. And that he finds life uncomfortable. He finds life is a place that is very confusing. And then it comes from a small society, which is home, to the bigger society, its community, is confusion for him. He doesn't know what to do. He's paralyzed. He cannot find his own way. Why? Because from childhood, the experience that he has from life and small family, which is small community, is a bad experience. And that bad experience takes him. The Torah says, if the voice are not the same, we don't judge him as Ben Solomon More, because that's accidental, because it's the instinct of the parents made mess him up. It's not this tikkun and nefesh. It's not what his really essence is. The father and mother should take it. Abinu Bechaya says, why do we have this mitzvah, the Gemara says that it must never happen and never is going to happen. Because Torah wants to tell us the most important thing for a person is relationship with Shepard. Even if the children are coming to the obstacle, he has to take the Shepard, father and mother, the Av of Rachamim, kindness to the parents. They should take the child and do whatever that Hashem says. And they say to the elders, this child the wayward and rebellious, doesn't listen to our voice. Is the glutton and drunkard. And he drinks and eats. And they should stone him. And they should be afraid. Now, Rashi says, what did he do that he should be killed? He just stole money from the father and he made barbecue and he ate. He didn't do anything that he deserves to be killed. Rashi says, Hashem Sofo. He would be killed because of the final. Torah went to the sof of his dato, sof shemikale mamon aviv. Finally, he finishes the father money and he got into addiction, whatever that he has, and doesn't find it. And it's money, what does he robs? Becomes a robber, robs other people to get money to do whatever the addiction is. And then he would be killed. Why? Because he did a crime. Torah says, Yamut Zakah, he should die Zakah, and should die Chaya. Now, before Hashem asked over here, Maharsha asked, that what about by Ishmael, Torah says, by Hashem Rishon, the Malachim said by Ishmael that he should be killed because it's going to destroy the Hal Israel. Our Rav says, by Hashem Rishon, right now is a Tzaddik for Rasha. If it's a Tzaddik, therefore we go with right now or we go with the future. Now, he says, we're going for the future. Now, there are a lot of answers. One answer is that this Yesod, Yamut Zakah, Yamut Chayab, is just with Netinat HaTorah. Torah is Mechadesh, such a Sevara and logic. It's the logic of Torah. It's not the logic for the Goyim. Shmuel at that time was a God. This concept of Yamut Zakah, Yamut Chayab, that's only with the Gitarim of Torah. It's the relationship of Torah. The relationship of Torah is the perspective of forever. It's not just Olam Hazeh. Goyim are part of Olam Hazeh. They be judged in the Olam Hazeh, the perspective. But the Hal Israel have a larger perspective. That's why it's not applying to Ishmael. Now, somebody has a sin that whose judgment is death, and he was excluded. After that, you should hang him on a tree. Lotalin on a gallows. Lotalin evlato. You should not keep his nose out of it. You should bury him because it's the cares of Hashem, God to God. Talui person is binyani. And you should not contaminate your land. That Hashem give you as an inheritance. They were here. We are talking about somebody was Mekalel Shem Hashem. Somebody was Mekalel Hashem. They're going to kill him, and after that they have to hang him. Now Torah is saying that when you hang him, it should not be more than a day. Person has to bury dead body, should not delay. Torah says should not overnight, and it's a very big avera to keep a dead body, not to bury him, because the dead body gets his menucha when it's buried. So if there is no reason, special reason, some people they keep the dead body till Sunday because they say Sunday everybody's there. They give a few days till Sunday. That's not the right thing to do. If the family, the immediate family are not there, they should just one day to delay for the kavod hamet, real kavod hamet, then okay, fine. But just do it in matter of they do know everybody should be get together for Sunday. That's not the real thing to do. It's Asur in Torah and burial is a mitzvah. But here, you should not see the act of your brother or his sheep mitachim going astray with amtamim and you ignore them. But if the brother is not carved, is not close, and you don't know it, you should gather it and should be with you till your brother asks for it and give it to him. You should do the same to his donkey and should listen up with that. You have to care for somebody else's chavetzim. Now, Levychaim says, if Torah says that if somebody lost a pen that worth 50 cents, 70 cents, Torah says you have to return back, Koshkin, that when you see somebody's neshama gets lost, you are mechuyav to make sure to return it back. You should not see the donkey of your brother or ox noflim falling on the road with alam tamehem, and you should ignore it. Hakem tahem, or you should pick it up with him. Your brother needs help to pick up the chamor and ox. You should help them. Two things. First of all, is the psal bal chaim. They are in suffering. You should not let the behemoth and even animal to suffer. And the other things that they have to do. What does imo mean with him? In Bala. What about if he says, okay, I'm going to a Starbucks to get coffee, you do this for me. He said, no, you have to help yourself also. Lo yekeli should not be an article of a male on a lady, and lo yilbash, and a man should not wear simlat ishtad, the garment of a lady, kitabad Hashem lecha, because the abomination of Hashem lecha, kolosele, all of the who does this thing. In other words, from here we learn out that the man should not wear the garment of a lady should not, or the makeup of a lady should not, a man should not wear, or anything that special is special only for ladies, a man should not do that. Rashi says why Torah says also because the depth of the psychology of doing white people would like to do that because they want to materialize for themselves. Or the man becomes like a lady, goes among the ladies in order to abuse them. To that, therefore, Torah says also always there is a decision in Torah. The dusha comes the mechitza. Always you have to mechitza between men and women. The nature of a men and women are two opposing, very attraction, and the any type of relationship between man and the lady, a foreign lady, is not right. Torah says not right, especially here that he wants to look like ladies to go among ladies, and all purpose is to do adultery. And Torah says that so. When shall it happen? The concept nest bird, the on the road, on the tree or on the ground, the young birds or eggs, and the mother is roosting on a frochim or on the beim. Lo tikach, we should not take the mother over the children. We should send the mother and the balim tikach. One should take for himself. In order that should be good for you and prolongs your life. Over here is the mitzvah of Gansipur. Everybody talks about Gansipur, why this mitzvah in Torah. Now the Torah says that when there's the nest and the mother is roosting over the children, and you want to come and pick it up, the mother wants to protect the children. The mother will not fly away. If you go and want to catch a bird usually flies, could fly away and you cannot catch him unless you hunt him. But here, the mother is protecting the children. In that moment, you want to take advantage of the opportunity. You want to take it as a ransom and to take the mother, which is protecting the children at that moment, to use it. Torah says the person should not do that. And that's the lesson in life. If somebody got stuck someplace, and you could take advantage of him in business, whatever that the reasons are, whatever that the occasion are, person should stay away. Don't take advantage of somebody that is stuck, is in this place that is stuck. Somebody has to go from one place to other places. Life is danger. You tell him, okay, give me $1,000, give me $10,000, I'll do that for you. You should not abuse. You should not take advantage of him at the time of his need, at time of crucial moment for him. Now, Torah says, that this mitzvah brings Geula. Now, how does it bring Geula? Because the mother goes and mother chirps in the mother of Baruch Hu, and Hashem sees as the mother is chirping because it's away from the nest and the children, and Hashem would remember Sion and said another mother also, there is mother away from the children, and that would be Zechut and merit for all humanity, the Midrash says, for everybody. Because Hashem is Merachem, that Rachmor of Hashem would be awake. Now the Geula would come. Now what's Pshat the Geula would come? In other words, even understanding of this Nekuda, that even bird chirps in front of Hakadosh Baruch Hu, that turns over the Bidin Sheshamayim to create Rachmanut for all humanity, to bring the Geula for Kahal Israel. Remember, understanding of that brings the Geula. Because we have to understand that any small thing that we do, even bird making noise in front of Bidin Sheshamayim, has impact. Bidin Sheshamayim are very detective. Once we understand that, then we are very careful whatever that we do. We understand the chashivut of each small thing that we do, and that would bring the Geulah. When you make a bayit chadash, new house, you have to make guard on your roof. Not put that because there should be falls from it. There shall fall one who falls from it. Now, what does he put Hanover? Hanover means Rashi says that he's going to fall anyway, because there's a destiny for him to fall. But still, you should make sure it should not be from your roof. It should not become that shaliach. Even though that is supposed to fall, but you make a ma'akib fairness. Therefore, from here we know that anything that there's a law in Torah, that person should not have anything dangerous at home. Therefore, whatever that person has at home that could be dangerous, person, let's say, have a pool, you have to make a garden on it, you have a roof that people go and play there, you have to make a roof. Something that's being used, you have to make a guard that they should not be endangering anybody. You have a well in your house, you have to cover it. Anything would be dangerous for the children, for adults, you have to take away. Don't sow your kamecha, your 1 yard line with different species. Maybe they become forbidden as a sanctified field kernel, azera of the seed, that you plant, and the produce of the vineyard. You are not allowed to cow and donkey together. Now, what's pshad of cow and donkey together? Because they have different power, and one would empower the other one and be sad for him. Torah says don't do that. Some versions say because sure, the shoe is caught, and chamor doesn't do it. Therefore, when chamor sees that the shore is caught, he feels that he's eating and I'm not eating. Therefore, that would be b'tzar. So it's very important that even the Torah is against the person to create tzar, even for animals. Lutil bashas do not wear shatnez. Shatnez means combined fibers combined into the same wool and linen together. Gedrin you should twisted thread should make it an arba gamma besucha. That's not see. When a person gets married to Baala, person gets married to a girl and he hates her. In other words, if a person gets married to Baala, in other words, and if all of the purpose is Baaleha, then he would hate it. So the purpose of marriage is not just marital relationship. It has to be a relationship about that puts them together. That also is important, but that can't be all of it. Because if it is all of it, at the end, it's not, because otherwise, after a while, that drops off. What stays? Hatred. With some value, no. He accuses her that she wasn't Betula. The Torah says that the father and mother, they should bring the cloth of the Betula, the virgin, and they show, and the Bedin would punish him, and he has to give 100 coin to the father. But if they find out that was emet, it was true, and she lost the virginity, if she lost the virginity with the Edim while she was Arusa, then they have to kill her, they have to stone her. Now, Torah says that even one can find somebody somebody that sleeps with a lady that was married before, we kill both of them, and we are Torah say. Now, when a lady is married, if the lady is married, then the punishment is chenet. We kill him with chenet. But if the lady is meurasa, she is not married, she just got engaged, they were kiddushin, not nisturim. She wasn't with her husband, then the death is stoning. There was more calm or more strict. Now, before she would say, why? What's the difference between she's married? Person would think married lady has to get bigger punishment. Torah gives more punishment to engaged lady rather than married lady. Now, why is that? Why is the stoning most common that you want? Because the pshat of the punishment is prevention. Now, who needs a greater prevention? A lady who is married or a lady that got engaged. Now, depths of psychology, a lady who just got engaged needs a greater prevention. Why? because she knows that she's going to get married. Once she's getting married, she cannot do these things anymore. She said, that's my last chance. It's all comes to her. She says, your last chance. You're going to lose the opportunity. Go, do it. Now, Torah has to put a bigger punishment because the pshat of the punishment is not to be given. The pshat, in other words, the real punishment is prevention. Because we want to prevent this girl from trap, we need a bigger punishment. Now, if somebody finds somebody, the Torah says that if somebody was with the lady in the sadeh or the ear, sadeh even is a metaphor. In other words, in the ear means that she could have screamed, she could have made noise, and it would have one form. She didn't do it. They would be going to kill both of them. But if sadeh field means that she screamed and she was forcefully, a man was with her. Now what do? You're going to punish the man. But the we don't do anything, and that's the source for learning that any time that the person is not at fault, it's not his will, something happened to her against her will, we're not going to punish her. Now, what about if somebody goes with not a married lady, goes with the lady, and somebody captured the lady and by force was with her, he has to give Tetzei have to give 50 coin kesef to the father, and she would be his wife for the rest of her life. Now, a man is with a Jewish girl. Now, Torah says that if you want to touch a Jewish girl, then what's the punishment? You give 50 coin because you touched her by force, and she becomes your wife for the rest of your life. You cannot divorce her. If this person marries a girl, lady doesn't like her, to divorce her. But in this case, the chance of divorce is taken. Now, why is Torah doing that? That's very simple. The Torah is saying that you are not allowed to touch a Jewish woman, Jewish girl. If you touch her, that means to say that becomes your wife, and the privilege or the right of divorce will be taken away from you. Therefore, don't touch her, marry her, and then you see. But if you touch her, you are responsible. The person is not married to marry the wife of his father, and the person there's another thing that a man with injured or crushed testicles or his organ is cut off with Hashem. He cannot come to B'chal Hashem. That's not Hashem in congregation of Hashem. Rashi says this is Israeli. He's not married, he's not allowed to marry a Jewish lady. Now, very interesting. In this parasha we find that marrying a Jewish lady, that is coming B'chal Hashem. What's the Kahal of Hashem? Marrying a Jewish lady. Got married to a Jewish lady is somebody is a mamzer, was born from a not legal marital relationship. Some of them cannot marry a Jewish girl. Cannot come to Kahal Hashem. He has to go and marry converted Jews. Cannot marry a Jewish lady, and but if he marries a converted Jews, then even the children would be mamzer forever. Forever they would. No, the only answer for her means that if he goes to a country that they have shivcha, she has to get the shivcha and marry her, and then she will be shivcha for the rest of her life with him till they have all of the children, because the children from the shivcha will be eved. If you free them, they will be flesh too. There's no mamzer anymore. Till she's not going to have any more children, then she frees her and becomes her wife as a Jew. Ammon Moabit cannot come to Hashem. You cannot marry not converted Ammoni and Moabit. You are not allowed to marry a Jewish. You cannot marry a Jewish lady. They could become converted again. Why? Because they didn't precede. They greet you with the bread and water when you came out from Sinai. Therefore, they don't have Hakadato. They don't have the hospitality. They are not part of Kahal Israel to marry a Jewish girl. And they hired Biram for Reuben to Kersu, but Hashem didn't want to. Hashem turned over the Torah to Bracha, Hashem Absu, Edomi, you should not abominate, despise the Edomi because your brother, Misri because you were getting that, but you're not allowed to despise the Misri. So, till third generation, the converted cannot marry a Jewish girl. After that, when you go against the somebody that's not tahor, This cannot come to Machane, and he should go to Mikveh, and should go outside the Machane. Now, Torah says an important point here is the prepared place. You have to prepare a place out of the Machane, out of the camp, but the person should go outside. The person has to go to leave himself, to leave herself or himself. That's the place to go. It should be a shovel for you and your weapon. So when you go, you should dig the place and you have to cover yourself. In other words, you have to cover what comes out of you. In other words, the Torah is saying that your camp is the camp to save you and to give your enemies in front of you. Your camp has to be Chadosh and should not be Ervadavar. Hashem would not see an innocent thing and turn away from you. Therefore, the Machane has to be Kadosh. In other words, whenever that we daven, we pray, that applies, that Machane, daven and pray, you have to make sure there is no urination or there is no the soil in that place. It smells, you cannot daven. Or there's the erva. Erva means the lady that has to be covered is not covered. Even the wife of a person. Somebody was davening and praying from her wife, and she wasn't covered properly. So it's my wife. No, doesn't matter. It's your daughter, your wife. The places that has to be covered, that's why. In other words, the uncovered place of a lady, you're not allowed to learn, you're not allowed to say bracha, or to say bikidamason, to say kiddush, whatever the bracha, you're not allowed to say, it has to be out of your sight. No taskir everyday Adonai, you are not allowed to turn over slave to his master, as you know, that comes to you, name Adonai from his master. Now, Rashi says it goes like Targum. Targum says that if a Eved from Amamim, very interesting, what's the shaykhut of this parasha with Telul, it's a lot of shaykhut, it's also one of their relationship, that if a slave from the other nation would come to Jewish nation and he wants to be protected, Torah says, you have to protect him. Whenever that wishes, you should not mistreat him. Therefore, if somebody comes from the Goyim and he says that I want to come out of the they have to protect him and they have to get him. Therefore, here means to say that whenever that the person leaves his master and comes to the mastership of Baruch Hu, Hashem would accept you. That's Elul. Elul also will leave the mastership of the world and what's happening, and we feel that they are controlling us. We come to HaKadosh Baruch Hu and we say, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, we are under your Shekhinah, and Hashem will take care of us. In other words, we cannot have a lady prostitute in Israel, and we can have a male prostitute from Israel. You should not bring the wages of the Sunnah prostitute. In other words, a person becomes a prostitute and she wants to bring the wage for the Korban. Ramban says a lot of times when people make wrong things, they want to give that for Kedusha to subsidize themselves. They should feel good about whatever that they're doing. The Torah says don't do that. A lot of times the person does wrong thing and he justifies, he feels that the end justifies the means. The end doesn't justify the means. If you bring as an exchange of a keler, dog is a very asponing. That's very strict. Torah says, as a metaphor, that exchange of a dog should not be Hashem. Any type of exchange of being strict, that's asponing, brazen face that stands and arrogancy. That exchange of that should not be korban. Korban is just the opposite. Korban is a humbleness. You have to humble yourself. So, for all of the wow, ki to avad Hashem and damanish to Hashem lekecha gam shne both of them. Do not pay advance interest to your brother. Nesher interest of keser, nesher ochel food. In other words, you give, let's say that 10 eggs to somebody, and you take 20 eggs from him. That's also nesher. Nesher means whatever that you give somebody else to use and to give exchange something else. You cannot give more than that. Nesher kol davar, nesher yishav, and even nesher of davar, tibu. In other words, he would talk very nicely about you that you lend him, and that he does it as a payment to whatever that you did. Is also to Gentile, you may pay advance interest, When you make a neder, don't delay the neder because Hashem would want it. Therefore, Torah says, if you stop doing that, Torah is encouraging us, don't make a neder. But if you make a neder, make sure to pay it. Most of the Sukhatecha comes out from the mouth, Tishmor, they watch and do it. When you come to Kerem, when you come to the Kerem vineyard of your friend, it's talking about poel. Somebody's working on the vineyard or garden or somebody, the poel, the worker that works there, you could eat, not everybody. If you go to somebody's vineyard, it's possible to eat fruit and things of the owner. You could eat sobecha, but it will satisfy you, but if you're a worker, but you cannot put it in your vessels to take it home. When you come at the standing grain, in standing grain, and you may pluck ears, and you could pluck the ears and you eat it, but sickle, you are not allowed to live for your own sake of eating. Although you could eat with the measurement that you need to eat, but you're not allowed to take that. These pesukim are talking about not everybody. So like Rashi says, the poel talking about poel that works there. When you get Isha, and if you don't find a favor in your eyes, in a moral matter, you can't have and she goes and marries another person, and they did and said, or dies, the first husband cannot go back and marry her. That because of the fact that she had been defiled. In other words, somebody has a wife and the wife got divorced and married another man. Once she got divorced and married another man, then the first husband cannot go and marry her, even if the first husband dies or the first husband divorces her. And this is a very partial cheshbon. Why? Because if we don't do that, people would grow and awaken them to exchange their wives. He would say that I divorced my wife, you divorced your wife, and they're going to be together and then come back. Torah says that to close the gate, not to awaken the Yetzirah in that direction, Torah says that's true. When you marry Isha Chadasha, should not go to the army and should not obligate himself for any army matter. Not be free, should be for example 1 year and should make his wife happy. The first Shana Rishona is very important. You are not allowed to take as security a lower milestone or upper milestone. Because the life is what he needs it for his life. Now, if you find a person that stole a person, a Jew, and he did enslaved him, we met a ganav. That ganav, ganav of the money we don't kill. But if somebody robs people, has to be killed, we have to rob it. You should watch the Torah Lishmor because Torah comes, whatever that Levim tell you because of this. The whole should remember what Hashem did to Miriam. That's Torah because of Lashon Hara. Hashem did. When you shall claim a debt from your friend Mashal Mehumah, debt of anything, go to Abul Betul Abud Abuto. You're not allowed to come to his house and to secure his security. You should stand outside. And the man that you owe him, the man that has claimed a debt from him, he would take out the Abu if it's poor person, you should not allow to sleep with Abu with security. You should return it back to Hashem, and it would be righteous for you. Now, Torah tells us an important point when you hire somebody. You are not allowed to withhold what is due to the hired person only when you're poor or destitute. Avraham, your brother, on the same day you have to pay. In other words, if somebody you work for you 2-3 hours during the day, before the sun should not set on him. Because we are and for that he is taking his nefesh. He puts himself, he gives his soul for you. Once he gives his soul for you, he needs the money. You have to give it to him. And should not call out for you to Hashem, but it should be sin for you. Therefore, here Torah says a very important mitzvah that Arizal would not daven till he pays his workers, because he says that not paying the worker maybe prevents the davening to be accepted by the Baruch Hu. If you hire anybody that you hire, make sure now if he works during the day and finishes before sunset, you have to pay him before sunset. If he works at night, all night he works and finishes in the morning, then sunset. But if he works all day till night, then before dawn, you have to pay him. Torah gives you one half a day for the time of payment that you have to pay. You are not allowed to kill father because of the sin of the children or on the edut of the children. Simon of the children. The children would not be killed on the father because each person would be killed according to his head. Don't divert, don't pervert the judgment of the ger of a ger converted and yatom orphan, because they are not protected, and you could judge them with achlor. And you should not take down the security garment of the almana widow. Therefore, these people are people that they don't have protection. It's very easy for you to take advantage of them. Torah says also, and you should remember that you went Mitzrayim, and Hashem redeemed you from when you harvest the sadeh and you forget Omer Besadeh, don't go back to the but the person has to be over with everything. Now, one person asks, how could I do the mitzvah with shicha, with forgetting? With all of the kochot that you have to do mitzvah of Hashem. Now, is there any mitzvah that you do with the shicha, with forgetting? Yes. If you forget a bundle in the study when you are carrying them to carry from the study, take them out, you forget one bundle, then you have to leave it there for the poor people. And through shicha, and Hashem give the bracha. Now, Rashi says, if a mitzvah that you just forget and do the mitzvah, you get bracha, kol sheken, if you do it with the intention. When you beat the olive, you should not strip all of the branches. Behind you, pick the isolated grapes after you. Command all of these things. When there is a fight between Hashem and Mashpat, the Shafetum, Pastir with the Sadi, Veshut Arosha, now the Torah is talking about Edim Zoymi. In other words, if we have two Edim, they come and they say something happened, and the Edim say that didn't happen, that's called a Dehachosha. We don't listen to neither of them. But what about if two Edim say that, Reuben killed Shimon in Los Angeles, and two other Edim come and say that, no, on that day you were in Los Angeles, you were in Baltimore. We listened to the second pair of Edim, and we're going to, whatever that they were supposed to do to those people, we're going to do it to this Edim. That's called Zema. We don't do it. Now, why do it like that? Usually, we don't listen to the second pair of Edim. Why do we hear? Because, see, first pair of Edim, one of them is fabrication. They made it up. Now, which one is more probably that they made up? The first or second? The first one is the open field. They could say whatever that they want. But the second one, no, that media, everybody knows about the first one. It's in town, everybody knows it. Therefore, if he comes and he says something that's a lie, it's very possible to be cut. Therefore, it's very careful. That's why we believe the second one, you're not more from here, we know that you're not allowed to eat anybody, even hidden children. If it is eating right now, it's not permitted because nobody should simply with eating. Eating is also you don't put muzzle on ox when it's threshing. Because it's sad. Again, you are not allowed to cause pain for the animals. When the people say it's a mistake, but one of them died, when brothers are became of that, not the eshtamed that puts go out, they start, they have to do the mitzvah of Yibum. Now the brother has to come and to marry him. Now Torah says, and the first child will be. Now here, and if he doesn't want to do that, he has to take out his shoes, and then we are now, the mitzvah of Yibum is that there is a shaykhut between the wife of a person and the brother. His neshama is closer to his brother because they have the same parents, and the neshama that got married to a lady and she dies, when in the marriage process, he gives some type of his neshama to his wife. So these two getting together, they could maybe a good survival for the one that was. That's short of Yibum. If he doesn't want to do Yibum Chasa, he comes and he takes off her shoes, that to show her that to show him that you should have done the gibum to save your brother, and now you are not doing, and that's called Krishna. If people are fighting together and and the person goes and the wife of the one comes to save her husband, goes and grasps the private part of the husband, he has to pay, and that's called embarrassment. Because the way that she did it, she embarrassed the man, he has to pay embarrassment. You should not be even should not have different way, large and small. We should not have, our way has to be very honest and true. In other words, to sell with the lighter way and to buy with the heavier way, that's not right. Hashem says, remember what Avraham did, that happened to you on the way, and he cut down those trailing weaklings after you, and you were faint and exhausted, and you wasn't afraid of Hashem. And when Hakadosh Baruch Hu gives you what is Hashem inheritance you should destroy the memory of Amalek. You should not forget. Because the last piece of the Torah is talking about Amalek, and before that was talking about have a business, be honest to your business. The Torah says if you are not honest in your business, then Amalek comes to you. Now, what does that have to do not to be honest in business and Amalek coming? Amalek feels everything is created, everything is happening. Now, here in business, what is it? Is everything is happening? Hakadosh is controlling. Person knows that Hashem is controlling. Person should know that Hashem's bracha comes only with the way that Hashem wants it. If person goes and doesn't do it the way that Hashem wants, they were saying that it's nikri, it happens, it's natural. They will go like that and they will take revenge of that Amalek, because Amalek is the one who is responsible for this of mikri. If you go mikri, then what happens? Amalek comes after you, because your chele and your portion is not me, it's Hakadosh Baruch Hu. Now, if you go like that, it becomes domain of Amalek. Amalek comes after you and fight with the person. It has to know that the bracha comes from Hakadosh Baruch Hu, and the only way that the bracha comes is the way to do it with that Hakadosh Baruch Hu said. Have a good Shabbat, B'ezrat Hashem, everything should go well.